Hello guys, Omni here. Just finished this week's Batwoman, and as we've been covering these things post-crisis, after Crisis Land for the Earths, seeing the effects, the changes, we're just gonna be continuing along, giving you updates on everything we learned throughout these episodes going forward. So if you haven't seen last night's episode, be sure to tune out, come back, because there will be spoilers, and I'm gonna go ahead and dive into it now. So the cliffhanger last episode was with this new Beth kind of showing up at the tail end, and then you're wondering, is this Mouse? Is this a doppelganger? Is this somebody left over from the merging of the Earths? And you're not really sure, because with Alice, whoever knows, but it turns out she is in fact a wayward lost remnant of the former multiverse. And we learn a little bit about their past, her version of the Earth, where Kate doesn't have tattoos. She works with their dad. They still have the crows, and the thing that really stands out about the entire backstory about what happened on that parallel Earth that she is actually from, it kind of hints like it might be the Earth 99 one, but it might not. It could just be one similar to that. She just said, I've seen pictures like this because she come across her phone, and there's pictures of her and Kate, hanging out, doing things, adventures, her dissertations. She has like her college thesis on all of these things. Like, she's had a life. There's all kinds of evidence at least came over with her driver's license, her phone, books, school papers, things like that. And, they get to talking after Kate comes to the realization that this is not Alice. And it's just so wholesome seeing them get to know each other, seeing really that kinship that they could have had. This is like everything that Kate lost. And, the only reason, as she learns the variations between their stories on their Earths, it boiled down to the decision that Kate made to not go back in the car and get Beth. In her Earth, the one where Beth survives and does not become Alice, the only difference that they could find out so far was that in the car wreck, Kate went back in. Everybody's been telling Kate the entire time that, it's fine. Like, you couldn't have done anything. If you had went back in, you just both would have died. And we learn the cold hard truth, and that it's that puts even more guilt on Kate here and responsibility for where this Earth Prime's, Earth One's Alice Beth ended up, so that she became Alice. And we see even more of the horror stories that happened when she was in that house. Her finding a cat, Mouse bringing her a cat, the father finding the cat, snapping the cat's neck, making her sew faces out of human flesh. It's just so freaking messed up. But like, seeing that it all came down to that key choice informs on us that Kate could have saved this Alice completely had she just made that one judgment call differently. And you can see the pain weighing heavily on her when she realizes this. But she's getting the second chance on their birthday to have her sister back, this version of her sister that is just awesome. She even talks with Luke, with Mary, and all that stuff, and they're like, it's hard for them, but then they see the realization, they see what Kate had, that connection, that kind of person that Beth was, even though, she was a kid, but this would have been the Beth that she would have grown into had things not gone south in that way. But as they're going out, while Alice is in custody, Mouse kidnaps a bunch of high-ranking officials within Gotham's children, holding them hostage for kind of ransom for them to free Alice. So the crows are not going to do that. During Alice's interrogation, we see a little bit of back and forth here between the ransom call with Mouse and Alice's kind of backstory. Both Kate and Sophie have their own kind of code, their own little secret language that they develop back in boot camp, their training, survival training, and stuff like that. And that also Mouse and Alice, to communicate whenever their Mouse's father was around, they would have their own kind of code to go back and forth and with this. And it kind of comes up. It definitely comes up. So later in the episode, Kate is off to go to try to save the kids from Mouse, and gets blindsided on a motorcycle by a truck full of the Wonderland gang. She gets kidnapped. She's added to the bunch of ransom people. That's when this kind of conversation in the interrogation room kind of ensues because they get the message from Mal saying now that he's got those two kids plus Kate. That's when Kate delivers a secret message to Sophie, and then I was like, "Oh, that's cute. You guys have your own secret message. We do too." And it kind of, oh god, it goes bad. It goes south real bad. So Beth too has the bright idea, and this entire time I was like, "Oh god, it's called Unbirthday." So like, how is this going to come into be? We're not going to have this happy story for long, and I really don't think we are. But Beth too decides, well, I mean, if she is me, maybe I can just go undercover and pretend to be Alice. So they dress her up like Alice. She goes in, tries to negotiate to save Kate, and Mouse catches her because she doesn't know their little secret code. And she gets thrown in the car with the rest of them. But luckily enough, during this entire time, Kate had been like going at her like bindings and gets free, saves the kids, beats the crap out of Mouse. Mouse gets in stuck on some rebar from a blow he took. So he's stuck there. And during this whole thing, the car is on fire and everybody's in there. She's Alice is trapped, or not Alice. Beth too is in the trunk, trapped, burning. And Kate goes back into the car despite all of that and actually forces her out, saves her. Happy ending, right? Oh, no. Because during this entire time, Alice also escaped from the interrogation by getting some effects that she hid in her Wonderland book. This, which is ridiculous. It's an awesome little action set piece, but I don't think that would work that way, not at all. But it was still pretty fun. Alice gets away, but they in turn capture Mouse. So they really just flip-flopped the people that they had imprisoned. And this entire time, I'm like, okay, at what point is Beth 2 going to die? Because it wasn't there. It wasn't there. I really thought she was going to be outed right there and Kate was going to have to watch her die. And it would just been this double painful act. But I feel like that's going to be coming because at the end of the episode, they have the little birthday. Kate has a birthday moment with Beth 2. It really feels like everything's coming together. The entire time I'm waiting for, well, we know Alice got away. So what if she stumbled upon this and just shoots Beth 2 in the back of the head? Maybe I've just got too many Walking Dead video game vibes, but I'm always like, somebody's about to get sniped through a window. And I mean, that doesn't happen. It's fine. They blow out their candles. Everything's fine and dandy, right? Nope. So Beth 2 starts getting this screeching tinnitus-like ringing in her ear as she starts clenching her head as they kind of talk about, you know, her being these leftovers from the Earth's colliding and stuff like that maybe count their blessings, but I think they might be counting them a little too soon because there's this ringing going on, this psionic ringing in her head that's causing her a lot of pain. And we cut over to Alice walking down a alleyway, and the same ringing starts happening there. Both of them, I don't know if this is because they're close by, if this is something else causing it, the fact that there's two of the same person going on. We didn't see any of this in Supergirl. This is not a thing that happened in Supergirl at all. So I don't know if this is something that is building up. That may be because Supergirl was last week, it was in the past compared to this episode. Maybe that this buildup, this energy has not collected in any of the doppelgangers currently residing or refuging on Earth Prime. Or maybe this is specific to these two, or this is just a pure evidence of some of the writers groups between the shows not really lining up with how this is supposed to work. I guess we'll find out, but the episode ends with both Beth and Alice with this crazy ringing psionic brain pain just shooting into their heads as they're being debilitated by it. And what that means, what this does, what this is implying for the future, it's basically telling me one of them is going to have to go. And I'm willing to bet all bets 100% we're going to lose Beth 2. We are definitely going to lose Beth 2. So that's pretty much where the episode wraps. I really like the interactions between Kate and Beth in this. I really liked how we see this kind of mirroring of what Beth and Alice could have been, as we're seeing different moments. It's kind of panning between the two of them. We're seeing parallels between their stories and how they just went in these different directions completely. Some parallels between Sophie and Alice, between Alice and Kate. Some really cool themes throughout this. I thought it was a really good, solid episode. And Rachel Scarsden is by far the shining beacon of this show. That her performances are just across the board fantastic, amazing, just gorgeously hypnotic, because she just sells being this precious, wholesome version of the character and just batshit insane with Alice. And she can flip the switch so easily. And like, she is the breakout star in this show. She's basically the reason I'm watching this show at this point. I enjoy all the other characters, but she is just what elevates the show so much. But yeah, that's my thoughts. That's my take on this week's episode. I'd love to know what you guys thought of the episode. So sound off in the comments. Let me know your thoughts, so we'll have that conversation after the video. If you like this, support the channel by liking, commenting, subscribing, and I will catch you next week with the next episode of Batwoman. I'll catch you guys next time.